At this stage, after all of the sample code that we examined in this series, we're ready to return back to discuss homework project 11, which is our programming assignment for this week. So the task is to modify phone contact app, the program that we designed as a part of homework project 9, and be able to save and load the data in a file. So there is no prototype in this file. Okay, so instead, I want you to copy and paste the finished version of homework project 9, the phone contact app that you designed in the previous homework assignment. And if you're still unfinished and if you're still working on it, then you should go back and finish it and use the finished version as the starting point for this homework. So we need to change the program as follows. Number one, as soon as the program starts, we need to ask the user for an input file. Okay, so there's something similar to what we did here in all of these demonstrations with this context.txt, but now we need to ask the user. So if in our demo programs, it was just a hard-coded file name, now we need to ask the user. But at the same time, we need to provide a default file name, like phone contacts, or use whatever you like, and accept the default if they just hit hit enter and the user enters an empty string. And number two, this previously hard-coded dictionary, remember there was a requirement that we keep a certain number of hard-coded dictionary entries for the reasons of testing, but this time something like this, something that was present in our previous homework, this hard coding needs to be removed like this, right? So just get rid of it. We're no longer going to use any of this. Instead, we're going to load the information from our file. We need to be loading the context from the file, and we are going to then, after loading, let the user interact with the program exactly the same way as it was in the previous version. Remember, we're able to search for contacts, we're able to add new contacts, and all of this functionality should be supported exactly the same way. At this stage, once you start loading the information, you can probably already start testing it. Just it's always a good idea to be able to verify that everything is working correctly as soon as you can. So then number three is very important, and this is perhaps the focus of our, the actual focus of this specific programming project, is that we need to verify that everything is in the correct format. As you know already from all of our presentations, we already did all of this checking and raising exceptions and catching certain types of exceptions. So you're welcome to use all of the samples that you like, any way you like. Just copy and paste all parts of the code that you like and think about what else you can improve. But in general, it's a very good foundation to what we need to do here for this step number 3, that we need to verify that all data that we're loading from a file is in correct format. So of course, we're going to use exception mechanism, and we're going to use try except blocks, which we already demonstrated with this series of errors. And you need to be able to capture all sorts of errors. Just think about any possibilities of erroneous or malicious data. Okay, so you need to be able to print informative error message and either exit the program or allow the user to re-enter a different file name, and the error information that you need to be displaying is the file name, the line number, exception type that was caught, and print any additional information as you see fit, right? So anything that you consider to be helpful, all of this information needs to be very, very descriptive and very, very nicely organized and reported on the screen. So what I will be doing on my end, I will try some kind of like corrupted files to try to use when checking your code. So just be prepared for that, and it should be interesting if I will be able to crash your program. So my task is to somehow find a way to cause your program crash. Let's see how I succeed or not. Okay, and number 4, since we're now starting to use a file as like a persistent layer in our application, we're adding this persistency so that we can start program today, add some context, save the information, come back tomorrow, and the information is still there. So I'm considering it would make sense to add a quit command to exit program without saving any changes, and optionally, perhaps you should be quitting with the user, telling the user that there's some unsaved data, okay? Or exiting the program by exit command, which will, by default, just save the information and write all this information into a file. Okay, and number 5, the last requirement, the last technical requirement in this section of the code, that you need to implement adding new contacts. It just makes total sense right now because we have, we have this persistence layer. Of course, we need to be able to add new contacts. So you can support this format, or maybe, you can come up with your own format. I just find this to be very easy way of doing it, plus the name of the contact, the phone, just something like this. If you already done this as part of the previous homework, you're all good, but this time this is not optional. This is a required feature. So these are the technical requirements for modifying the phone contact app to be able to save and load data from a file.